The quiet before the storm. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the peaceful landscape of Earth. People went about their day, unaware of the invisible force quietly making its way toward them. The air was still, as if the world itself held its breath in anticipation. Everything appeared calm, but beneath the surface, something was stirring. Earth had been at peace for many years, with only minor conflicts between nations and the occasional unrest. Humanity had learned to live in harmony with each other, setting aside their differences to build a better world. The technological advances were extraordinary, and the world seemed united in its desire for a brighter future. But this peace, fragile as it was about to be tested by something far greater than anything Earth had faced before. The first sign of trouble came not from Earth, but from the stars. A strange signal had been detected coming from deep space. It was unlike anything humanity had encountered before, neither human-made nor from a known alien species. The signal was faint but unmistakable. It was a message, though its meaning was unclear. Scientists and military leaders quickly scrambled to decipher it. But the mystery deepened. The message was encrypted with technology far beyond anything Earth had. The world's leaders were alerted, and a global meeting was called. The urgency in the air was palpable. The message seemed to be a warning, or perhaps a call for something. Earth was no longer alone in the galaxy, and something was coming. But what and why? These questions echoed in the minds of all who heard the news, but no one had answers. The truth was that no one had ever expected Earth to be the target of anything beyond their own internal struggles. As the days passed, the tension mounted. The peacefulness of Earth now felt like a thin veil over the storm brewing on the horizon. Governments scrambled to prepare, but no one knew what to prepare for. The military began to deploy forces, but they didn't know whether they would face a full-scale invasion or something else entirely. The unknowns were too great, and the uncertainty was terrifying. Meanwhile, the general population tried to go about their daily lives, but the unease lingered. People started to look up at the sky more often, searching for any sign of what was to come. Fear and curiosity mixed, creating a strange sense of anticipation. Would Earth face war? Would humanity's peace be shattered? A week later, another message arrived. This one was different. It was not a signal from the distant reaches of space, but a direct communication, an invitation. The message was clear. Come to the negotiation table. We wish to discuss terms. The tone was calm, even diplomatic. It seemed to be an invitation to peace, yet the circumstances under which it was sent were anything but peaceful. How could something that began as a cryptic, potentially hostile message turn into a request for discussion? The invitation came from an alien species that was completely unknown to humanity. Their technology was far superior to anything Earth had, and their intentions were uncertain. The military leaders debated fiercely behind closed doors. Should Earth take the chance to meet with these aliens, or would it be a trap? It was a difficult decision, one that could change the future of humanity. Despite the uncertainty, Earth's leaders made a bold choice. Instead of preparing for war, they decided to respond with peace. They would send a representative to the negotiation table. Some argued it was too dangerous, that Earth should prepare for an invasion instead of seeking talks. But there was something about the calmness of the message that made many believe this was not an immediate threat. As the representative was chosen, the whole world watched. The fate of humanity seemed to rest on the shoulders of one individual, a diplomat who would face an unknown alien race on behalf of all of Earth. There was a strange sense of pride mixed with fear. Could humanity really stand up to whatever was out there? Could they avoid the bloodshed that had plagued the galaxy for eons? The diplomat, chosen for their calm demeanor and experience in delicate negotiations, was briefed and prepared. The world held its breath, waiting for the meeting to take place. Meanwhile, the alien ships, dark and silent in the vastness of space, hovered just outside the Earth's atmosphere. They were waiting too, waiting to see if humanity would choose peace or war. The quiet on Earth was deceiving. Beneath the surface, the storm was brewing. Humanity stood on the edge of something unknown, and their next decision would determine whether the storm would bring devastation or a new hope for the future. The diplomat's journey would mark the beginning of a new chapter in Earth's history, one that would either strengthen their position in the galaxy or throw them into a conflict unlike any the universe had seen before. It was a gamble, but humanity had always believed in the power of peace over violence. The question now was whether that belief would be enough to survive the unknown. As the diplomat prepared to leave, a single thought echoed in their mind. Earth had chosen peace, but peace in the galaxy was a fragile thing. It could be shattered in an instant, and no one could predict what would happen next. The storm was coming, but no one knew exactly how it would unfold. The first contact. The diplomat's ship pierced through the atmosphere, heading towards the unknown alien ships in the vast darkness of space. The moment was historic. It wasn't just a diplomatic mission. It was humanity's first real step into the larger galaxy, a galaxy full of beings with unknown powers and motives. The diplomat, an individual chosen for their calm temperament and level-headed nature, sat in the cockpit, staring out at the stars, wondering what awaited them. Inside the control room of the diplomatic vessel, the air was tense. Despite the years of preparation, the reality of the situation had set in. The entire world was watching. News networks were broadcasting live as the spaceship made its way toward the alien fleet. Every human on Earth had their eyes on the skies, holding their breath. Was this a turning point for mankind, or would this be the day their peaceful existence was shattered? As the ship drew closer to the alien ships, the sight was nothing short of breathtaking. Massive, sleek vessels hovered in space, their design unlike anything humanity had ever seen. They shimmered in the darkness, their surfaces almost glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. There were no visible weapons, no signs of aggression. Just a calm, almost serene presence. The aliens clearly had the power to destroy Earth in an instant, but their calmness made it difficult to gauge their true intentions. The diplomat's vessel was escorted by several smaller alien ships. As they approached the largest of the vessels, the tension in the cockpit became almost unbearable. The diplomat tried to maintain their composure, but the weight of history pressed heavily on their shoulders. They were the first human to enter an alien ship that wasn't Earth's own. They had no idea what to expect once they stepped foot inside. Then, the communication system beeped. "Welcome, human," a deep voice echoed over the intercom. It was calm, almost soothing, yet its unfamiliar tone sent chills down the diplomat's spine. "We have been waiting for you." The diplomat took a deep breath and responded, "Thank you for your invitation. I am here to speak on behalf of humanity." The voice paused for a moment before replying. "We know. We have been observing your species for some time. Your choice to seek peace has intrigued us." As the ship docked and the diplomat prepared to disembark, they couldn't help but wonder why this particular alien species, one that had observed humanity for so long, was reaching out now. What was it that had caught their attention? The galaxy was full of species, some more peaceful, some more warlike, yet it was humanity who had been singled out for this encounter. When the hatch opened, the diplomats stepped out and found themselves in a vast chamber. The floor was made of smooth, metallic material that seemed to absorb the light. The air was different, cleaner, almost sterile. Everything was calm. But there was a tension in the air, a feeling that not everything was as it seemed. And then they saw them, the aliens. There were 5 of them, towering figures with elongated limbs and smooth metallic skin. Their eyes were large and luminescent, giving off a faint glow in the dim light of the chamber. They did not speak, but their presence was enough to make the diplomat feel small and insignificant in comparison. These beings were so far beyond humanity in terms of technology and strength. Yet there was no sign of hostility in their posture, no sign of violence in their movements. They simply stood, observing. One of the aliens stepped forward, its movements graceful and deliberate. It spoke again, its voice deep but not unkind. We have watched your species evolve. Human, you have a choice now. A choice that could shape the future of your kind and of the galaxy itself." The diplomat listened carefully, trying to absorb every word. The gravity of the situation was clear. Earth stood on the cusp of something monumental. The peaceful species of the galaxy, who had once remained silent observers of humanity's development, now stood before them, offering a path forward. But it wasn't just a path of peace. It was a path that could lead to something far greater, or far worse. The alien continued, its glowing eyes fixed on the diplomat. "We have chosen to help you, to guide you in your journey. But it is not without risk. The universe is full of dangers, and some of them are far older and far more dangerous than anything your species has encountered." A chill ran down the diplomat's spine. What could these aliens mean? And why had they chosen humanity, a species still so young in the grand scale of the galaxy? The diplomat could sense that there was more to this meeting than just a peaceful alliance. There was something deeper, something hidden beneath the surface. Before they could ask any more questions, the alien raised its hand, signaling the end of their conversation. "The decision is yours, human. You must choose wisely. Your future and the future of your world depend on it." The diplomat felt a shiver of uncertainty. What lay ahead for humanity? Were they truly ready for what was to come? Could they trust these beings who offered peace but warned of danger? As the meeting ended, the diplomat made their way back to the ship, their mind racing with questions. What did this alliance really mean? What dangers were lurking in the dark corners of the galaxy? And most importantly, why had these peaceful aliens chosen humanity? Only time would tell, but the journey ahead was sure to change the course of Earth's future forever. The choice unveiled. The days following the diplomat's return to Earth were tense. The meeting with the alien race had left humanity with more questions than answers. On the surface, it appeared to be a peaceful exchange, but the diplomat could sense an underlying gravity that no one could ignore. The aliens had extended their hand of peace, but there was something about their warning that struck a chord with humanity. The unknown dangers they spoke of weighed heavily on everyone's mind. Earth was on the edge of a monumental decision, one that could change everything. As soon as the diplomat returned, a global summit was called. World leaders, scientists, and military officials gathered in the United Nations headquarters, the room buzzing with anticipation and fear. The implications of this meeting with the aliens were far-reaching. Could humanity trust these beings? What would the consequences be if they chose to join forces? Or worse, what would happen if they rejected the offer? The diplomat stood before the assembly, feeling the weight of the moment. This was more than just a decision for peace. It was a question of survival. They had experienced the peaceful nature of the aliens firsthand, but the mention of unknown dangers lingered in their mind. What were these threats? Why had the aliens mentioned them in passing without elaborating? And why had they singled out humanity, a species still so young and untested? "We are at a crossroads," the diplomat began, their voice steady but filled with urgency. "The aliens who came to us are unlike anything we've ever encountered. They possess technology and knowledge far beyond our own. They claim to want peace, to help guide us through the dangers of the galaxy. But they have also warned us of threats far older and more dangerous than we could imagine." A murmur spread through the room as the leaders exchanged glances. Some were ready to embrace the alien alliance, believing it could propel humanity to the stars. Others, however, were more skeptical. The warning about unknown dangers lingered like a shadow over the proceedings. "We must be cautious," one military leader spoke up, his voice laced with doubt. "We don't know what these aliens truly want. What are these dangers they speak of? Are they referring to other alien races, or something else entirely?" The diplomat nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. "We don't know yet. The aliens have not provided us with specifics, but they have made it clear that their assistance comes with conditions. We must decide whether we are willing to accept their guidance and help, knowing full well that the galaxy is not as peaceful as it seems." The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. The fate of humanity rested on a single choice: to accept the alien offer and join an intergalactic alliance, or to refuse and risk facing the unknown dangers on their own. Both paths held immense risks, and the consequences of their decision could echo for generations to come. At that moment, the doors to the conference room opened, and a new presence entered, the leader of the alien delegation. The room went silent as the towering figure walked in, its smooth metallic skin gleaming in the light. Its glowing eyes scanned the room, an air of authority and calm surrounding it. It was the same alien who had spoken to the diplomat on their first visit. Despite the intimidating appearance, there was no malice in its demeanor, only a quiet, steady calm. "I see you have many questions," the alien spoke, its voice deep and resonant. "But time is running short. We cannot remain here indefinitely. The choice you make now will shape the future of your species. Choose wisely." The leader's words hung in the air, thick with tension. The alien had confirmed what the diplomat had suspected. Humanity was running out of time. Whatever threat was looming in the galaxy, it was drawing closer, and they needed to make a decision before it was too late. "What happens if we refuse your offer?" a representative from another nation asked. There was a fear in their voice, but also a sense of defiance. "What will you do if we choose to stay on our own?" The alien leader's eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and a small, almost imperceptible sigh escaped its lips. "You misunderstand. Our offer is not one of domination, but of cooperation. We do not wish to force you into anything, but we know the dangers that await. The universe is vast, and it is not always kind to those who stand alone." The room was silent again. There was no threat in the alien's words, but they were powerful nonetheless. Humanity was being asked to trust, to step out of their comfortable isolation, and face the vastness of the unknown. It was an overwhelming thought, but it also stirred something deep within the hearts of those present: the desire to survive, to thrive, and to explore. The diplomat looked around the room, sensing the weight of the moment. People were divided, unsure of the right course of action. The alien leader had given them a glimpse of the risks and the rewards, but the ultimate decision was still theirs to make. Should they accept this offer and open themselves to a future among the stars, or should they turn away and face the galaxy alone? "I know this is not an easy decision," the diplomat said, their voice breaking the silence. "But the truth is, we do not have the luxury of time. The galaxy is vast, and we are not alone. We must decide whether to accept the help of those who offer it or face the unknown on our own." As the leaders began to deliberate, a deep sense of uncertainty filled the room. The fate of humanity was at stake, and the decision they made today would determine the future of their species for generations to come. The alien leader stood quietly, its gaze unwavering. Whatever humanity chose, they would not force them. But one thing was clear: the choice had to be made soon, before the dangers of the galaxy arrived at their doorstep. And so, with the weight of the universe pressing on their shoulders, humanity stood at the crossroads of destiny. The choice was theirs to make, and the consequences would echo through time. The hidden truth. The days following the summit were filled with growing unease. Humanity had been presented with a choice unlike any it had faced before: trust the alien species offering peace, or reject them and face the vast, uncertain expanse of the galaxy alone. For most of the world's leaders, the decision was difficult to make. Every option seemed to hold its own set of risks. Some saw the aliens as a threat, while others believed their help could guide humanity to a brighter future. Behind closed doors, however, whispers began to spread. The diplomat, the one who had been humanity's bridge to the alien race, had begun to notice something strange. The message given by the aliens was not as clear-cut as it seemed. The diplomat had tried to probe for more details about the galactic dangers the aliens spoke of, but they were always met with vague responses. Was this all part of a larger strategy, or was there more to the story than the aliens were letting on? The diplomat sat alone in their office, reviewing the data from the meeting once again. It wasn't just the aliens' words that were unsettling. It was the way they acted, the way they held back important details. Why did they never speak of these galactic threats in any concrete terms? Was it truly a plea for help, or was there an underlying agenda that they weren't sharing? Unable to shake the feeling that something was being hidden from the Earth's leaders, the diplomat decided to dig deeper. They had a secret communication line that had been set up by the aliens, one that was encrypted and secure. It was meant for emergency contact, but the diplomat had a growing sense of urgency. If they could uncover the truth, perhaps they could stop humanity from making a decision it would later regret. With trembling hands, the diplomat initiated the secure communication. A glowing light on the console flashed, indicating that the alien leader was on the other end. The alien's form appeared on the screen, its calm expression unreadable. "You have more questions," the alien said, its voice serene and distant. "I do," the diplomat replied, their voice steady but filled with tension. "There are things you haven't told us. The warnings about galactic threats. Why are you being so vague? Why not tell us everything?" The alien leader's glowing eyes narrowed, a subtle change that the diplomat didn't miss. "You must understand, not all knowledge is meant for you yet. Some truths are too dangerous for your species to handle." The diplomat felt a chill run down their spine. "What do you mean by that? What truth are you hiding?" The alien's voice softened, but its words were heavy with meaning. "The galaxy is a place of constant struggle. There are beings out there far older and more powerful than your kind. Some of them thrive on destruction. Others are ancient, remnants of a time before even we came to be, and they will stop at nothing to extinguish life wherever it exists. The reason we have reached out to you is simple, because you are not ready to face them alone." The diplomat's mind raced. Was this the truth, or was it simply a tactic to manipulate them into joining the alien cause? They tried to stay calm, but the weight of the situation was bearing down on them. "So, you want us to believe that by joining you, humanity will survive?" The alien did not respond immediately. When it spoke again, its tone was serious. "Humanity's strength lies not in weapons or technology, but in your ability to unite. To see the bigger picture, you have the potential to be more than just a species, more than a single planet in the galaxy. But to realize that potential, you must trust us." Trust. It was the one thing humanity struggled with the most. Over the centuries, it had been betrayed, manipulated, and deceived. Could they trust these aliens, even if they had the power to help them? The diplomat remained silent for a moment, pondering the gravity of the decision. "I will need more information," the diplomat finally said. "If you are truly asking humanity to take a step into the unknown, then we need to know exactly what we're facing." The alien leader's gaze softened, almost empathetic. "In time, you will learn. But for now, you must make your choice. You cannot delay forever." The connection was abruptly cut, leaving the diplomat staring at the blank screen. The tension in the air felt suffocating. The diplomat had hoped for answers, but what they received was only more uncertainty. The alien leader had been clear. Humanity was running out of time. But why had they held back so much of the truth? With so many questions unanswered, the diplomat knew they had to prepare humanity for the decision ahead. What if the aliens were not what they seemed? What if their warnings were more than just an attempt at manipulation? Could humanity trust them, or would they be walking into a trap? The weight of these questions was unbearable, but the diplomat had no choice but to act quickly. As the days went by, the world's leaders continued to debate the alien offer. Some remained firm in their belief that they should reject the alliance. They argued that humanity had always been able to stand on its own, that it could face whatever challenges the galaxy had in store. But the diplomat, after their private conversation with the alien leader, knew that this decision wasn't just about what was best for humanity. It was about survival. And survival was a powerful motivator. The diplomat began working in secret, reaching out to trusted allies, and gathering as much information as possible. If there was a danger out there that no one knew about, humanity had to be ready. They had to understand what they were truly facing. But as the diplomat dove deeper into the unknown, they couldn't help but wonder, was humanity really prepared for the truth? The rising tension. The tension on Earth had reached an all-time high. After the diplomat's private conversation with the alien leader, humanity's future had never seemed so uncertain. The alien's words lingered in the air like a dark cloud, one that refused to dissipate. The galaxy is a place of constant struggle, they had said. Some of the threats are ancient, older than even we are. These words were not easily forgotten. As the diplomat prepared to share the disturbing revelations with Earth's leaders, another unexpected development occurred. A new message arrived from the aliens, but this time, it wasn't the usual diplomatic tone. The message was clear, direct, and tinged with urgency. Time is running out, the message began. We have kept the truth hidden to protect your species. But now, the danger has grown too close. You must decide quickly. The diplomat, now more uneasy than ever, immediately called a meeting with the world leaders. The atmosphere in the room was thick with uncertainty. The leaders had been divided over the aliens' offer from the start. Some were still in favor of forging an alliance, believing it would secure humanity's place in the galaxy. Others were vehemently opposed, fearing that the aliens had their own agenda. The diplomat's new findings were the spark that could either ignite an agreement or tear the fragile coalition apart. We have to consider the possibility that the aliens are hiding something crucial from us, the diplomat said, standing at the head of the table. They've said humanity has the potential to unite, to become more than just another species in the galaxy. But they've also warned us of ancient threats, and I fear we're running out of time to prepare. One of the leaders, an influential figure who had been skeptical of the alien offer from the beginning, spoke up. This sounds like a manipulation tactic to me. They've told us we're not ready for certain knowledge, yet they're urging us to act quickly. Why? What's so urgent about it? The diplomat sighed, feeling the weight of the room's skepticism. I don't know. That's why I'm sharing this with all of you. We have to make an informed decision. We can't rush into something this big without understanding the full implications. Another leader, one who had been more open to the idea of an alliance, stood up. But what if they're telling the truth? What if there is a threat out there that we can't face on our own? We've spent centuries fighting amongst ourselves, and we've barely begun to explore space. Are we truly ready for whatever these ancient forces are? The room fell into silence. The question hung in the air, unanswered. The world's leaders were clearly divided, and the diplomat knew that time was running out. The message from the aliens had only made matters worse. If the truth was as dire as the aliens claimed, humanity needed to act quickly. But the diplomat's gut feeling told them that something didn't add up. As the leaders continued to debate, the diplomat stepped back from the table, lost in thought. They were all speaking about what could happen, about what might be. But none of them were asking the right question. What if the danger the aliens warned about wasn't just external? What if the real threat was something within? What if humanity was being pushed into a decision that could tear it apart from the inside? The diplomat knew that they couldn't let the world's leaders make a decision without a deeper understanding of what was at stake. But how could they find the truth? How could they uncover the mysteries the aliens had hidden without risking everything? Meanwhile, the diplomatic channels remained open, and the aliens grew more insistent. Another message arrived, this time with an even more direct warning. We can no longer wait. The forces we speak of are drawing near. Do not hesitate. The diplomat had little choice but to continue their investigation. With each passing day, the sense of urgency grew. The alien messages were becoming more cryptic, more alarming. Yet the information they provided seemed to lead to more questions than answers. What were these ancient threats? Who were the powerful beings the aliens had mentioned? And what did they mean by not ready? The diplomat knew that the answers were out there, somewhere. But with every passing moment, the tension between the world's leaders grew. People on Earth were beginning to ask questions of their own. Was this an alien conspiracy? Were they truly looking out for humanity's best interests? Or was there something far more sinister at play? As the days wore on, the diplomats' anxiety grew. The questions they had once thought were just minor concerns were now escalating into something far more serious. Was the galaxy really a place of constant war, as the aliens had suggested? Or were there darker forces at work, forces that had their eyes set on humanity? There was no room for further discussion. The diplomat felt a cold chill creep down their spine. The decision had to be made. Humanity could no longer linger in the shadows of uncertainty. The Alliance had given them an ultimatum, and the clock was ticking. The diplomat addressed the leaders once more, their voice steady but filled with the weight of history. "We are at a crossroads," they said. "The Alliance has made it clear that our future depends on the choices we make now. Do we stand with them, ready to face the unknown? Or do we stand alone, trusting in our own power to survive? Whatever we decide, it will change the course of human history forever." The room was silent once again, the weight of the decision sinking in. The faces around the room were filled with fear, doubt, and determination. But there was one truth that united them all. No matter what choice they made, they were no longer the same species that had first received the mysterious message. Humanity had changed. The diplomat could see it now, the quiet strength, the resolve in the faces of the leaders around them. This was humanity's moment to shine. They had always stood together in the face of adversity, and now they would do so again, in the face of something far greater than they had ever imagined. And so, the decision was made. Humanity would join the Alien Alliance, but on their own terms. They would stand side by side with the galaxy's most peaceful species, but they would never lose sight of who they were. Their silent power was not just a weapon, it was their heart, their unity, their ability to survive when the odds seemed impossible. As the diplomats reached their decision, the clock continued to tick down. Outside, the skies darkened as ships from the Alien Alliance prepared for departure. It was time for humanity to make its mark on the galaxy. They had made their choice, and it would lead them into uncharted territories. They would no longer be passive observers in a universe full of uncertainty. Humanity, with all its flaws and strengths, would stand tall, united, resilient, and ready for what was to come. As the final message from the Alien Alliance echoed in the diplomat's mind, the gravity of the situation settled in. This was no longer just a decision between two paths. It was a defining moment for humanity. The ancient enemy loomed on the horizon, and the fate of Earth was tied to the choices they made now. The diplomats stood before the assembled leaders, a resolute determination in their eyes. "We will not be a footnote in the galaxy's history," they declared. "We will stand, we will fight, and we will show them why humans are not to be underestimated." With that, the room erupted in a mix of relief, fear, and determination. The decision had been made. The countdown had ended, and humanity was finally ready to face whatever the future held. As the alien ships took off from Earth's atmosphere, heading toward the unknown, the quiet power of humanity had found its voice. The Alliance may have given them the tools, but it was humanity's spirit, their unity, and their strength that would carry them forward into the vast, uncharted galaxy. And no matter what happened next, the galaxy would never forget the silent power of humans.